All right, so it's 2 o'clock in the morning where I'm at, and today has been a real productive day. Actually, it's been a real unproductive week, but today in particular, I don't know. I gotta change my habits. Something about the way I'm sleeping. Like I'm going to bed real late lately, and then I'm waking up late also. So, and then the day is just cut wrong. I don't know. I gotta get it right next week. Or else I'm just fall behind in my work and everything. But and I had like a really lazy workout. My shoulder. I don't know. Um, I got to get things together. But that's not why you. That's not why you're here. So why I don't hate black women. And it's sad that we've come to this pass that a person has to, because really you're not supposed to hate your counterpart anyway. But right now that's the assumed. Um, that's kind of like the assumed position with anybody with a strong opinion that you hate the opposite sex. But I don't. Um, I strongly criticize them, but there's no real hate there. And the reason why I don't, well, the reason that I don't hate them is simple. It's because if given the opportunity, I know myself well enough, and I know really pretty much black men in general would do the same thing. All right, so I want you to, use your imagination for a second. Close your eyes if you have to, but I want you to really just picture like a bizarro world. And for those of you who don't know, who are not nerds, Bizarro is just like um, Bizarro is like the anti-Superman. He's the exact opposite of Superman in very weird ways. Like he comes from a flat Earth, and he comes from the Bizarro universe, and where Superman has laser beam eyes, and he blows cold. Bizarro has cold beam eyes, and he blows hot. So just imagine like a bizarro world, a different world where the laws favored men the way they favor women here in America. So, but instead of for money, let's just exchange it for sex. So just picture a world where if you divorced a woman, she still had to fuck you. She had to keep you in the, style and quality of life that you have grown accustomed to, which means basically, she has to fuck you as regularly as the judge assumed that she fucked you during the relationship. And while this is happening, you can still have, you still get sex from your ex wife, and you would still be able to fuck your new girlfriend or wife. And if you so chose, you could just tell your ex wife to, fuck one of your friends or whatever. You know, you don't have to go. It doesn't have to go to waste. And then for whatever strange reason, you can petition the judge every now and again for more pussy or more head, or whatever you're into. Just imagine that world for a second. And imagine, also in addition to that, if you had kids with a chick, she's obligated to fuck you for the next 18 years of her life. Can you imagine how brothers would act to that? Would it be that much different than the way black women are acting now? I mean, think about how brothers would just run amok. They would just run a fucking muck, and it would be a nightmare for black women. Really for all women, but black men are a little more sexual than most, or a lot more sexual than most. So we probably would be worse on them than other men on their women. But who knows? Asian men, you know, historically have been pretty rough. Anyway, just imagine that for a second. I mean, would you do you think that we as black men would just be like, something, I'm going to just do the decent thing and, marry one woman and love her for the rest of my life, and and blah blah blah, Huxtable, grownish type situation. I mean, I think that we would be real fucked up in that the women would live through a fucking nightmare. Um, the women, black women, would live through a fucking nightmare if that happened, and it would be chaos, kind of like what we're in now. So I don't really hate black women, um, because they really have the same morality that we do as black men. It's just that they have the opportunity now to act on it. Now, what you hear on YouTube, and this part is to the black women, what you hear on YouTube right now is black men reacting to what you're doing because you are running a fucking muck. You're going crazy out there. You're taking the leverage that society has given you, as a means of protection against, perceived male indiscretions, behavior, or, just the opportunity of poor treatment. You've taken that and you just went buck wild on it. So, there's nothing we could do but bring it to your attention. You're out of control. You created a monster. And worst of all, you're hurting yourselves in the process. So, really, that's all, most of the manosphere is saying. It's like, look, you have these new laws, you have these new freedoms. Calm down, settle down, because in the end, you're truly hurting yourself. Now, now that that's out the way, um, why I don't hate black women. I'm going to say something, and I think that because, I was kind of hard on the brothers right now, and I will be from time to time, especially, and it's easy to do, when we're talking about a hypothetical situation or the bizarro land or what have you. But I want to say something to the brothers' credit, and this is something that's unique to the not really unique to black women, but this is something that's unique to women that you won't find in men. Women, and this part, like I say, I don't really hate you, but this part is really, kind of puts you in a rude awakening about the nature that you possess, that we found out about your nature as a result of these laws. And that is in the example that I mentioned. I think that men, black men especially, would do something like that for one generation. We would run amok, and we would just have all these baby mamas and just have like a forced harem, and just saying that y'all can't do shit about it because the law is going to arrest you if you don't suck my dick. We would do that shit for one generation. And then we would look our daughters in the eyes and say, something? I cannot put her in a situation like this. I do not want her to grow up in a world that's pure hell on women. I do not want her to be at the mercy of her husband who can divorce her at any time and make her suck his dick for, what, the next 10 years, or, however long alimony and shit like that work. I, and, then, she gets married again, and he's upset because he's still sucking the previous husband's dick, so he divorced her. Now she's sucking two dicks, and she still has to go out looking for another marriage while sucking two dicks. Can you imagine that? Can see, men would do that. Men would take advantage of that for one generation. They would not subjugate their daughters to that. They will not encourage a system like that to continue, knowing that their daughters would suffer that way. And women, black women in particular, and God, this is disturbing. But once again, I still don't hate. Y'all advocate for your sons to go through this nightmare. Each and every single generation. You've been doing this for about 60 years now. Each generation, you raise your sons in a and in this system that promotes, you know, his destruction as a man. You encourage this system that destroys him as a man. Each and every single generation, you raise your son as a lamb to a slaughter. And that is definitely something that is disturbing to learn. And it's also something that, history will never forget. History will never forget this dark side of female nature. I hate to say it, but that's that. So so just do some work. We don't hate you, or at least I don't. We don't hate you. We understand that a we would do the same thing if we were given a chance. But have your fun this generation. But for God's sake, let's work towards getting out of it. You've had your fun. You can swipe right anytime you want to and have like a perfect jawline nigga come to your house. As quickly as you can order a pizza. So you've had your fun. You had your free welfare. You had your nigga. If you or I can, what did Beyonce say? I can have another you in a minute. You had your fun, and you probably want your daughters to have their fun, but do not. And I'm not speaking for myself. I'm not a young man. Do not subjugate your sons to this hell, please. All right, so like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm out.